Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review round 13 of the 2024 AFL SuperCoach season. So an average week for us, or below average I suppose, considering how highly ranked we are, with an 1879, which did see us drop down 500 spots overall, so into 2700. But if we have a look at the team, a lot of that was down to the fact that we were carrying quite a few Fremantle and Port assets, particularly I guess in terms of keepers. But we'll have a look at the team. So we've got Nick Dacos with the 64. So was originally, I guess, in the conversation for captaincy. And I guess we'll touch on the captain in a bit. But shout out to Choke Artist, who called it to change the captain. So thanks for that, champion. Got me an extra, 70 points almost. So we'll absolutely take that. Harry Sheezel with a 129, rock solid. Nick Martin with a 92. So, he is proven to be that sort of 100-point average player, which probably isn't too bad at the moment. Probably will be a keeper for us. Closey and Graham, 50, 48 and 64. So I think Closey's score actually dropped off. His was the 19th score in my team. Did have 20 this week, but we'll touch on the 20th player as well. But as you can see, I had Houston and Ryan both out in the defensive line this week. In the midfield, we had Butters, Strong, and Horne-Francis all out. So we had Bont as our VC. He only scored a 99. So, I didn't take that, obviously. And Zach Merritt was the only one who turned up in our midfield with a 125. So, like Walsh, Steele, Rao, sort of all underperforming there. It is what it is. Frieder and Revels, continuing to tick over, make some money, averaging 64. We'll take that at this time of year. But the captain gone, so against Collingwood in the big Monday game. So 132. So that was a great result for our captaincy. I think only you can see Flanders was slightly better. Tim English with an 88, it's fine. He's playing this week, so no need to stress there. Flanders obviously the star though with 152. Heaney and Fisher both tunning up as well, so more tons in my forward line than my midfield, which is pretty wild. I guess more tons in the forward line than the midfield and defence combined. Sort of suggests why the score was a bit down. And Darcy Moore and Sexton, 89, 87. I'm going to happily cop that from those guys at this point of the year. And Will Dawson, unfortunately, was the cheapie we brought in and got us a duck egg. So, I guess, last week the issue was the premiums being out. This week it's the dead rookies. So, we don't have Dawson, we don't have Richards. Livingston's never been a thing. We don't have Garcia, most likely. And Caulfield obviously is also not a viable option. But in saying that, the plan was always to, up and down Closey and Graham. So in terms of our upgrade options, Jordan Clark is probably the favourite, given that he does play round 14 and 15. You can see we've got the top three. And then McGovern and Holmes are on bye this week, and Martin we've already got. Nasaya as a bye next week. He would be a decent option, but we do need someone probably playing both weeks just for the low amount of trades we have left. So Dale bye next week, McGrath, Newman this week, Sinclair next week, Hinge even next week. So the alternatives, I guess, if we are looking to save a penny from Jordan Clark, is Nick Blakey or Hayden Young, or I guess if you're real brave, Lockie Whitfield. And I guess you look at the numbers, so these guys are all averaging 100. Clark averages 107, 3-round average of 137, 5-round of 116. You compare that to, Hayden Young's probably the closest there at 104. So I think the extra 50k is justified in this case to bring in Clark. But then in terms of the defence, we don't really have, anyone outstanding in terms of defensive rookies, but we do have Dawson with his flexibility. And this does open up a couple of options in our forward line. So either a Nathan Kruger or a Billy Dowling. So they've both played one game, which isn't ideal, but it will allow us to get Jordan Clark, which is definitely an upgrade from Closey. Allows us to basically finish off our defence there. You can see Nick Martin will be D6. And then, combine that with our finished midfield if you put Walsh and Rowell back in there, and the rucks are sorted. So, I guess what that gives us is 11 trades to sort of, try and upgrade maybe 5 and if need be later, Sexton. We've got these sort of 200 to 250k guys that we can squeeze 100k out of every now and again to try and achieve that. So, I'm thinking Kruger, just the ruck dual position could be handy. Obviously not going to use it this week, but if one of these two is out in the sort of post-bye rounds, it could be handy if he's still playing at that point to swing him in there. So that's the only reason. But again, we'll look at teams on Thursday night and go from there. So let's make those trades. So what's the fixture like? Yeah, so Adelaide and Collingwood play Sunday. Adelaide plays Saturday night. So I guess we'll definitely have more information by the Friday game against Brisbane and Saints. Because Collingwood should have their updated team list by then, so that'll work well. And it'll just be a case of swinging him out if need be. But we'll put him on. Can probably throw Garcia on just in case. Unlikely that he plays. Not much point putting Dawson or Caulfield on, both injured. So it does give us, we've got 1, 2, 3 blue dots still, so that's 19. Possibly, and assuming Garcia's out, we're pretty sure we're stuck with the 18 that we've got. So in terms of captaincy, vice captaincy, excuse me. So just looking north in Collingwood, probably Dacos makes sense on the Sunday as captain, and the Bulldogs Freo. So it could be Ryan, Bont, Sarong. Don't know. Maybe Ryan. He's averaging the most. It makes sense. Yeah. So I think that's going to be how we set up. But I guess we should have done the head-to-head review as well. So a narrow loss to Reno's top-ups. So well done to you, Shane. Just having a look at Errol Goulden with a 157. So would be a nice option to bring in. Potentially Grundy with a 153, so another great ruck option for the next couple of weeks. Tom Green a bit flat with a 79, so I think he's off the watch list as far as I'm concerned. Captain Dacos as well, and I had Gawn, so could have been a disaster if we both had the same captain. But yeah, a couple of 150s, Carey and Shane over the line. So didn't dropped off 53 from Friger as well, so that's handy. Let's have a look across the league. Any 2,000 plus scores. Wardlaw and Order 2,040. That's worth a shout. Dawson with a 117 is good. Bailey Dow with a 95 solid. Zorko solid. Sheasel, Fisher, Flanders, Golden. Yep. So Jordan Clark with the 66. That's useful. So didn't even get Dacos' 64. So that's a good week, I think, if you didn't get that. Why didn't I guess silence of Jed Lamband 20th? Probably isn't the most active player in the league, but Sexton's 87 would have been pretty handy over a House, for example. But yeah, I guess we can't all hang in for the whole season. So 1969 from Red 32 buck as well. So VC Flanders, which is a good result. Had Grundy, had Ridley with a 112, Salem with a 111. So he's been really good. He was super cheap. So I think he's made close to 100k in the last couple of weeks, but obviously on the buy this week. So if you can hold, that's awesome. Yeah, so 90k or 100 if you sort of count the 13 in round 11. Yeah, so ever since he's returned, he's been killing it. Makes me think, do we wait a week and get him as our last defender? Doesn't really help us this week though, does it? What would we do this week instead of Clark? Maybe Golden in the midfield? No, I think we'll just stick with the plan for the time being. Obviously, if something else comes up that makes sense, we'll do it and we'll talk about it next week. But we'll wrap the video up there. So thanks very much as always for watching. Give us a comment if you've got any thoughts or ideas or suggestions on who should be captain. Again, shout out to Choke Artist for making some points for me this week. Give us a like, obviously, if you enjoy the AFL content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.